Thank you, everyone. I am Stephanie Ricca, Editorial Director of Hotel News Now, and this panel will be in English because, as I told my panelists, if we did it in Spanish with my level of speaking, we could talk only about the present, not about the past, and not about the future, and none of us want to do that, right? So you were all introduced just there, and I'm going to ask the first question that I'd like all of you to answer. And as you go down the line, when you give your answer, give us a quick sketch of your luxury, lifestyle, and all-inclusive portfolio in the region. So one of the things, some of the words that we've been using over the last 6 to 12 months, describing the big picture global hotel industry performance and demand metrics around the world include normalizing, right? We're normalizing, settling down, getting back into or close to pre-pandemic levels of performance. As you go down the line and you give us that quick portfolio sketch, also tell us what word you would use to describe the current health of luxury lifestyle and all-inclusive. And that word can be in English, it can be in Spanish, whatever you want. So Christian, start with you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Nice to be here today. Really is growth. The word is growth. I think what happened with the COVID, all the pent-up demand came back, and so we're going through the very, very robust rebound in the luxury market. For us, we're very present in Asia, Middle East, and Europe, and also in the Americas, but all markets have now pretty much reached back their 2019 levels and some. So, yeah, and also, generally speaking, we have about 50 properties, globally speaking, of which 15 of them are residences, freestanding luxury residences with the Mandarin Oriental brand. We have a 27 new hotel pipeline under construction and development in all regions, especially Middle East, Europe, and Asia. And we have about 6 here in the Caribbean and Mexico about to be announced in the next 6 months. So we're also focusing our energy into the American market, all the way from Canada down to Chile. And we see a lot of growth opportunity there, especially with the luxury residences, which has been a savior for this segment because it really becomes a replacement for equity in a market that has very high rates currently. So a lot of our owners and partners are focusing on residential, luxury residential product.
Growth is a great word, and we will be talking more about that residential development as a component of these projects. Fernando.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you. I'm very happy to be in another SAHIC conference. For me, the word would be unique. Regardless if it's lifestyle, all-inclusive, luxury, what customers are looking for now is that unique experience. It's not just to stay in a hotel, it's to go on vacation and have that uniqueness that they're going to remember for a long time. As far as for Hyatt, Hyatt became the largest all-inclusive luxury operator with more than 120 resorts, more than 40 destinations and 12 countries. And now we're continuing to grow and looking for opportunities throughout the Caribbean and in other parts of the world.
Leandro, what's your perspective from Aimbridge?
It will be guest centricity.
I like that.
And regarding our portfolio, well, we manage over 100 luxury resorts and lifestyle hotels in 8 countries. And also in the notes we said that this is the revenge of the traveler.
That's a great one. Guillermo.
Well, we have in Americas, we have around 100 hotels operating in the luxury lifestyle. And we have another 50 hotels under development. Our main brands in the region is Fairmont, Sofitel, but also SLS, we are growing a lot with the brands. And yeah, regarding the words for each segment, I would say that, that luxury would be customization, a very high level of customization. Of course, all brands try to customize their services and products, but in luxury tier, I think it's the main point. Very high level of customization. Lifestyle, I would pick culture. I think it's all about music, design, arts, and in all-inclusive entertainment.
Sounds like a party. Michael, all the way down there.
So thank you to be here. Good afternoon, everyone. I think it would be a new normal. We had a record signing last year. We have signed in the CALA region about 57 deals, more than 7,000 rooms. And we had seen a big increase in all the parameters, you know, RevPAR, occupancy, whatever you see in there. I think if we go through our luxury portfolio in the world, we have over 600 properties in the world in 70 countries. If it comes to CALA region, it's around 10%, so our 60 properties. I would mention our recent opening of the Edition and Sun Regis in Canai. You're all welcome to visit, astonishing properties. If we go to the all-inclusive portfolio, we have actually at the moment about 31 hotels operating and about 18 properties in pipeline. And the operations is mainly at the moment through Mexico, Caribbean, Central America, and Brazil. And I would also mention our recent signing of the Ritz-Carlton All-Inclusive and the Luxury Collection All-Inclusive in Yanuna, Dominican Republic. So I think some quite nice luxury properties are coming over to the Caribbean.
The words that you all use to describe these segments really indicate and support the fact that they have been the darlings of the industry coming out of the pandemic, you know, enjoying great rates and good demand. Can you break down a little bit what type of segmentation you're seeing? You know, we've talked a lot about revenge travel, like Leandro mentioned. Do you see still mostly leisure travelers coming to luxury lifestyle and all-inclusive? Are you seeing more business travel come back, even groups come back to these types of hotels and properties? Leandro, start us off with what you're seeing in segmentation.
Yeah, I think in the luxury hotels, now we are seeing that people tend to stay a few more days for tourism or leisure itself. In our case, we are very serious about food and beverage. Our executive chef is a 3-star Michelin chef, which is something different in Mexico and in the world, actually. So people tend to know our luxury hotels for the good offer of food, wines, and the general experience. After they go for a couple of days of work, they remain, and we have been deciding in different cities which other activities they would like to enjoy. You mentioned the spa. Certain hotels, of course, it's very demanding, and some others, the crowd is a very unique crowd, so they don't like spas, they like something else like art, something else like privacy, with all the tools and goodies of the nomads. So they want to have their own space, to have their own experience. And we are now even segregating certain places in the hotels for them specifically. And they really enjoy to be by, let work, make some soul exercises, because they believe they need to keep the peace over certain journeys after work. So I think it's evolving now. There's also some work in certain resorts. Like they say, resorts means fun, all day party, sun, and food okay. But some other resorts, people like to go and take vacation, but they also need their space to work. I think most of us travel with the office in our big face today.
So leisure travel. Fernando, how do you see that at Hyatt's properties and resorts around the region?
Well, obviously, resorts were very resilient and were the first ones coming out of this pandemic. But now we're seeing our numbers in terms of groups and mostly coming from corporations and increasing in city hotels. So right now, yes, I can say that we are in the numbers of pre-pandemic in the resorts. In city hotels, it's taking a little bit longer, but now we're seeing the increase in the numbers.
Guilherme, you talked about customization was one of your words for luxury, and this is what I feel like there's a lot of blurred lines now when we talk about whether it's business travel or leisure travel. Guests at the level of these hotels that we're talking about want that customization. What do you see as some of those trends? You know, we've talked about spa and food and wellness. Is it just a nonstop party? Are people looking for different types of experiences?
Yeah, I think when we talk about lifestyle, when we do luxury, I think it's always important to understand, as always, right, the characteristics of the demands, the clients, what they want, what they are looking for, especially in this luxury segment. You need to understand all the details of the preferences that these clients have, so you can provide and offer exactly what they are looking for, right? You have to do that everywhere, in the spa, in the beds, right? The restaurants. So that's what I think. Whatever technology you need to offer or that the client is expecting, you have to be able to offer. In addition to that, I think more and more, also when we talk about customization, very important to connect the hotel with the neighborhoods, with the city, and do that in a very authentic way, right? Because this clientele knows exactly what they want. They travel everywhere, and they like to tell specific stories about every specific place they go.
You mean share on social media?
Yeah.
If I may say, what we understand for lifestyle is the way you live at home. So what we're trying to do in our resorts is to create those moments that enhance the way you live back home. I don't think we live on vacation to be worse than we're at home. I think we all go on vacation expecting to be better. So that is those are the moments that we call lifestyle, and that we're trying to enhance what our guests have back at home. And by knowing them, it helps us to customize those needs or those services or those experiences in a better way. So then we can call it lifestyle.
Yes.
I think after the pandemic,
Michael.
people try to for outdoor spaces. So what we have seen recently, and we have implemented in some of our luxury hotels, is sort of a glamping tent. So it's a new way of people exploring new alternatives, and it's something strange that you would never thought before, that eventually a luxury customer would be willing to pay more to have this kind of experience. And responding maybe about the trends, yeah, definitely, the leisure is far already behind the pre-pandemic numbers, but we see a strong pickup in groups and eventually events. We see more generational family travel as well, which you haven't seen before. I think nowadays people don't put travel as a second option, so they really plan up front. They want to travel, they want to have new experiences, and we're happy to see that.
One of the interesting things that I've noted coming out of the pandemic is that a lot of these demand lines have blurred. You know, it used to be that we would not have all-inclusive and luxury in the same conversation, right? Tell me how you have seen those groups of demand change for these segments. For example, you know, luxury used to be very wealthy individuals, tended to skew older. All-inclusive were families, maybe looking for a good value. How have these demand groups changed in the last couple years?
One of the main things that we've noticed is just within also the generations. So we have the baby boomers getting older and leaving their families, their kids, money. And now it's the second generation that's traveling and spending more money on luxury. So there's a generational shift, and there's the great, what they call the great transition of wealth between baby boomers and the younger generation. And so now we have a younger traveler that wants luxury, but they want a different kind of luxury than our parents were seeking. And that is a much more experiential luxury. And so they don't mind paying the price, but they want to have much more outdoor activities. They want to have much more events and activities that involve their family, their kids as well. So it's a much more dynamic product that you're offering. And I think a lot of the luxury product and brands and hotels that we're actually building are going to be very different than the ones we did 20, 30 years ago.
From a product standpoint or locations around the hotel, design?
I think it's everything, because it goes back to your last question, Stephanie. It's also the urban versus the resort. I think it's all getting blurred as well. So a lot of people learn how to run their private equity and their hedge funds from anywhere in the world during COVID. Now they realize, well, I might as well buy a villa at the Mandarin Oriental in Turks and Caicos and run my company from there and pay no taxes.
Good.
So there's a lot of that kind of freedom and flexibility that didn't exist 10 years ago. I mean, we have technology in our phones that can do basically everything. You can sign documents, have conference calls with your board and your family and your teams and whatever. So that itself has completely opened for all of us here incredible opportunities as to how we target our demographic and what we offer them. And I think the next 10, 20, 30 years are going to be incredible for the industry.
Those of you with all-inclusive products, would you say something similar for the people that you are seeing using those products? A demand for higher end, perhaps? I know you're all dipping your toes in those waters.
I think, you know, people are willing to pay for seamless experiences. And there is a big appetite for the wealthy people to have this commodity of everything bundled up. So you've seen that I mentioned few signing of the luxury all-inclusive. So you're asking, whoa, Ritz-Carlton all-inclusive, what's that about? So yeah, people, even with wealthy people, they like to have no worries anymore. They pay one price and have it all bundled up. So yeah, we see a lot of appetite for this, and obviously I agree that you have to bring some sort of different kind of experiences, but I think it goes a lot with the seamless experience. So they don't have time to do check-in. They don't have time to do, they don't want to waste every single minute of their vacation. They want to have everything done in a way they have all the service around them, and obviously then they have to, you know, pay every time they get a glass of champagne on the beach, or eventually they get a bottle service which there. So they still get their privacy, because yeah, I think as well with the pandemic people try to experience more, you know, space, freedom, not being bundled up. So I think that's the biggest thing, creating those ambience for the clients that you know, you will get this sort of privacy in an all-inclusive space. So it's not the same all-inclusive product that we normally know. It's a kind of different approach.
And I think, Stephanie, we can talk about luxury and all-inclusive because we have brought the all-inclusive to a different level. I mean, and when I say we've been in, and this is part of the added value of Hyatt, we've been in the all-inclusive business for 30 years. And we were part of the group of operators that change the concept of the all-inclusive completely and create a luxury product that now you can say, I can do Ritz-Carlton all-inclusive. We place the all-inclusive product at a different level for a different customer.
I would like to add, and go back before there's a property to be opened. I think when you are with the owner or the investor, and they say, I want to have a great hotel, and I've been told that all-inclusive, high-end is great. The answer is depends. For instance, we have one resort in an island, very isolated, so why should I give all-inclusive? Because the guest will not be able to go and have in Burger King a hamburger. There's no Burger Kings around 50 kilometers around. Now, the food and the beverage experience is very important, but I think it depends, and also what the guest is expecting to find there, because there's the other way around. They have their yacht, so they are going to be at the sea, scuba diving or flying, so they will not use the premises of the hotel, but for dinner or for breakfast. So I think the beginning is, what do you want? And owners usually say, I want to make the best of my investment. You tell me.
Guillermo, what's your perspective as Accor moves into this space?
Yeah, we did a big move by having this partnership with Rixos, which is positioned in the luxury tier. Yeah, we have beautiful 30 properties already in other continents. We are now negotiating for the first ones here in Latin America. Yeah, no doubt Central America and Caribbean are the perfect places for an all-inclusive project. We see a lot of interest from owners, investors, developing more as they see the performance of these hotels. They show big interest in developing all-inclusive resorts, also with Fairmont, Sofitel, and other luxury brands we have. And I agree. I think it seems to me that the main advantage or the main attractiveness of this type of product is probably the agenda of entertainment that you offer to the client. So you give them 1 week of different and very diversified events that they will guarantee that they will have a lot of fun, and they don't depend on looking for other places to go while they are there, right? They are sure that they will find everything in a self-contained resort.
That's what they're looking for. So it's interesting when you talk about, how an all-inclusive deal, what factors it needs to come together, location, got to have margin, and so on. Let's turn back to luxury a little bit and talk about the development side, because one of the most interesting and really exploding factors when it comes to luxury development that you're all working with and facing is the idea of branded residential. And it's so popular here in South America, Latin America. Demand for it is high. Regulations are, in favor of that type of demand. Talk a little bit about what trends you're seeing in terms of what the demand is for, number of units, unit size, what it really takes to get the deal done, to get that luxury hotel and have branded residences. Christian, start us off.
I think the word that describes what we're seeing in all markets is just voracious. There is an appetite from both the buyers and developers to have that product. Buyers are spending incredible numbers. We still hold the most expensive branded residence in the world at $240 million on our penthouse in London. And the same thing for Spain and other markets. In New York, we're selling for almost $8,000, $9,000 a square foot in Fifth Avenue at the Mandarin Oriental there. And in Miami, we just launched a $1.7 billion flagship with 240 residences, and we're netting around $2,400 a square foot. We're not even on the beach. So the appetite for product that has world-class service, hospitality service, is voracious. And I think it's going to keep going as long as the delivery of the product is excellent and it speaks to what you're selling them. But Middle East market, Dubai is incredible, Miami is incredible. Here in Latin America, we're seeing already in Mexico, obviously has been a trend in the resort areas, but now in major cities like Mexico City and in Sao Paulo and Rio, primarily Sao Paulo, we see a lot of traction there as well. I think the markets will continue to sophisticate themselves in the real estate side. Every country has a little bit different rules when it comes to ownership of condos and who can buy them. Is it your local buyer or is it your international buyer? So I think a lot of these countries, especially Caribbean, are positioning themselves to remove taxation to attract investors from the UK, Canada, US. And that brings a lot of business, that brings a lot of jobs to the country as well, construction jobs and operating jobs. So it's really, for us, it's a huge component, and I think it's going to become at some point 50-50 with the hotel side. So we'll have enough, the same amount numbers of freestanding residences with the luxury hotels and some combination.
So you're talking about developing branded residences without the hotel?
Yes, and that's actually already happening with us in multiple places, but obviously the residents want to have the amenities of the hotel as well. So it can be a small boutique hotel with beautiful amenities and a couple of Michelin star restaurants, and then those become even more enticing to the buyer because they can live just on top of it, come down and partake in those amenities. So it becomes really a perfect combination. The freestanding residences is interesting. The one we're doing we just opened on Fifth Avenue and 55th in New York, has the first Daniel Boulou private restaurant. So we built on 11th floor a private restaurant with him and only
For residents only?
For residents only. So that obviously is also a premium on the for sale price, and that's why we're getting those prices on the sales and the velocity of sales. So I think the current buyer that wants to buy a branded residence in the top product in Dubai, London, Miami, or New York is looking for all those things to be there. It's a turnkey product almost, but they also want to have flexibility with the furnishings, the kind of a la carte services all the way down from access to the spa, private massages in the residence and all of that.
As time is the new currency. Who else can share a specific example, perhaps, of a recent development with branded residential? Michael, looks like...
I think we are the industry leaders in branded residential. We have already 134 properties open in 40 countries and about 180 in pipeline. I would say, obviously in the Caribbean, we have helped a lot of developers to pencil out their projects. So in the Caribbean, it's been very smooth process and been having a lot of... In South America, I think there is still a lot of potential that haven't been explored yet. The people don't understand yet the potential of have the branded residential component next to the hotel, but they're slowly getting there. We are now, this year we will be opening the W in Sao Paulo, which also contemplates branded residential, so really looking forward to it. But I think it is still, it's also, about the premium that you can get and the clientele you're selling to. So what we have seen in South America is in general, you've been selling to locals. And when it comes to a second property, like a holiday home, it's a different kind of buyer if it's his fifth home. So that's the difference. I think we will slowly getting to it, but it's going to take a little bit of time.
How about urban versus resort locations? Fernando, Guilherme?
Yeah, recently all the luxury projects that we've been doing, they always have residential component. We have right now an interesting moment where we have a resort, which is the Sofitel in Baru, in an island close to Cartagena. Beautiful project with residential, and it's a resort. It's a horizontal development. 180 keys, the hotel, and there's a lot of residential units. This is a resort. Then we have a pure urban project that is the Faena in São Paulo. That is, the sales are going to start in 1 month from now. It's a high luxury project, 100 units only, the hotel, as we see more often in urban destinations, small hotels, 100 rooms, and then in this case we have a huge residential project. That is, in this case, it's because it's São Paulo, it's primary homes, so they are not going to have rental program, and big units. And then the SLS in Punta del Este, which is kind of a urban resort. It has 80 keys, the hotel, and a lot of residential units. It's a beautiful project. And interesting to see how each one of these, you have to work on the configuration, design, in a different way. You have to look at the market, the demands, what the clients are looking for. For example, we were discussing if at SLS in Punta we should have more events, more area for events and social events. But then we thought that it was more important to have the F&B outlets, more diversified, different offers. But one thing that is interesting about hotel and residences, first of all, in addition to other characteristics that the brand has to have, the brand also has to have awareness for residential buyers. This is interesting. Sometimes, depending on the specific markets, this brand sounds better than the other for residential buyers, right? And another interesting thing that is very common in all, not in the resort, but for example, in this one, Faena in São Paulo, SLS in Punta, you have to convince the residential owner or the buyer, the potential buyer, that you are really building a hub in the city. They want to be in a place where everybody in the city wants to go. So you have to have F&B, you have to have, in the case of Faena, we are building a beautiful art center. So, because these residential buyers, they want to have this privilege.
Because they're going to live there, not just visit there.
They have to have this privilege of living in a place that everybody knows, everybody wants to be.
We could talk about this for another hour. Unfortunately, our time is running down, so we're going to do our last question. And again, I'd like to ask all of you to answer this, and we'll start with Michael this time. So give us what you feel from your perspective the biggest challenge is right now in terms of growing your brand in this region, and then also what the best opportunity is. So Michael, start with you, and we'll keep it brief so everyone can answer.
Can keep it brief just for opportunities here because we have it in all segments, but if I should concentrate on the luxury and all-inclusive, definitely I think it's some positive options coming up. We see a lot of opportunities, obviously, not just in beachfront properties for all-inclusive, we see opportunities as well with more the countryside. With the luxury hotels, I think the branded residential that we spoke about is a great opportunity for the developers to make sure that it pencil out. Biggest challenge, and I think it's nothing new, and it's the financing. It's been always a pain of Achilles in South America. Depending on the country, you have to structure it differently. But I think the hospitality is back on their feet. We are stronger than ever, and it's been really good years. And I believe that there will be a lot of good developments. We can help the owners really look at and qualify so the deals make sense, so they pencil out. So, for example, between all-inclusive or EP hotel, we can always help them out to search, depending on the market, the land cost, the construction capacity, the actual trends there. We, for example, have the upcoming W in Sao Paulo City, which is an EP hotel, and we also have a W all-inclusive in Porto de Galinhas, so I would say structure well, start talking to us in the very beginning so we can really help you. That would be my suggestions.
So the more data and options and information you have,
yes,
the better able it is to find a product to fit that spot. Guillermo.
Yeah, luxury and lifestyle in the main big cities in the region, and we are talking about probably 30, 40 cities in Latin America. Also in the main leisure destinations. There are many places in Latin America with mountains and at the coast. And when we talk about all-inclusive, no doubt it's Mexico, Caribbean, Central America.
Andrew.
Question is challenges, right?
Yes.
Transportation. Sometimes it's difficult to get to some beautiful places, and once you're there, you are so tired that you will never come back. So I think
You need a couple extra days then, so length of stay could benefit.
yeah, but some places are beautiful, but it's difficult, like here. 4 million individuals come a year.
Right.
Very little for the country. So I mean, that's a challenge to choose a location and be sure you can take people and make the occupancy and ADR so everybody can be happy.
Ando.
I agree with my colleagues. It's financing, connectivity, all those are challenges that we need to overcome. Plus, now we have many competitors. Before 3 years ago, we were basically the leaders in the all-inclusive, the only ones doing all-inclusive. And now all the brands are in the space and are very aggressive. We all want to grow. So that's another challenge that we have to overcome.
Raising the bar all the time.
Trying to, yeah.
It's similar for us with Mandarin Oriental. We're really more focused on building blocks for the brand versus doing quality and putting dots in the map. So our rates, are well north of the $1,000 up to like $10,000, $20,000 a room. So there are only so many markets in the Americas that support a rate like that and a cost of construction for a product of that level. I also share the same challenges in terms of connectivity and a lot of these beautiful places. But then again, when you make it so easy to get there, it becomes
And
less
everybody
magical.
comes.
And I think the story that we tell our clients is that they can kind of go to these remote, beautiful places and feel really separated from their daily life and escape into a place that's very unique. So we're focusing on a couple of private islands in the Caribbean that will have its own runway and marinas. And that really you are kind of getting secluded and you pay for the seclusion. So the more secluded you are, the more you pay. So it's a little bit of a psychographic that's very interesting, that's evolving with the ultra-luxury traveler.
Ultra-luxury, right? We could talk about that for an hour as well, but unfortunately, that's all the time we have. Please join me in thanking the panel.